The city sleeps uneasy when the Bat is gone. Because when Batman disappears, the shadows grow louder. And in the new Superman movie, this silence is not an accident. It is a choice. But why would the DCU remove its darkest night from the stage? What hidden meaning lies in his absence? Subscribe to the channel if you want to uncover the secrets behind this silence. Because sometimes what is missing tells us more than what is shown. For years, audiences have seen Batman and Superman together. They are the two pillars of DC's myth, the dark detective and the bright god. One represents fear, the other hope. One is mortal, the other near immortal. Together they form balance. So what happens when you take half of that equation away? The new Superman movie begins in a world without Batman, a Gotham without its shadow, a Justice League without its strategist, a story without its mirror. And this is not a mistake. It is a design. Because without Batman, the weight shifts. For the first time in a long time, Superman stands alone. He is no longer half of a duo. He is no longer the shining half of a darker whole. He is now the center of the DCU's moral universe. But here is the danger: Batman has always been the skeptic. The one who questioned gods. The one who looked at Superman not as a savior, but as a threat. Without Batman, no one is left to challenge him. No one to ground him. No one to remind the world that even gods can fall. And so the absence is more than personal. It reshapes the entire story. Because now Superman must wrestle not just with villains, but with the idea of unchecked power. Will he police himself? Will the world still trust him without the Bat whispering in the shadows, reminding everyone that heroes are dangerous? This tension is what fuels the story. Superman must carry the burden of two legacies. His own, and the empty one left behind by Batman. And the echoes of Batman are still there. Gotham still bleeds. The criminals still whisper of a silent night when the Bat did not return. And Clark Kent feels the shadow, even from Metropolis. Because Superman knows the truth, Batman's absence is not permanent. It is a pause, a silence before a storm, and the storm is already gathering. In this first act of the DCU, Batman's missing presence forces us to see Superman in a way we rarely do, without his eternal rival, without his suspicious partner, without the dark mirror that makes his light shine brighter. This absence strips Superman down to his purest form. The alien in a human world. The god who must prove he is still one of us. And in that space, the story asks the question, what kind of Superman do we see when Batman is not there to question him? This is not just the story of Superman's rise. It is the story of Superman being tested in a vacuum. A test to see if hope can survive without fear. Because make no mistake, Batman's absence is not just a gap. It is a wound. A silence that changes everything about the world we thought we knew. And as the new Superman movie unfolds, that silence grows heavier. Because what fills a world without the Bat? Is it peace? Or is it chaos waiting to break loose? The answer lies in the future. But the absence shapes the present. And Superman must carry that weight alone. The world has always expected Superman to save it. But without Batman, that expectation becomes heavier. Because the moment the Bat vanishes, the entire balance of power shifts. And this is where the story of the new Superman movie finds its tension. The question is no longer, can Superman save us? It becomes, can Superman save us alone? Subscribe now if you want to keep exploring the hidden meanings of these stories. Because Superman's burden is about to grow darker. In the past, Batman was the one who made the hard choices. The one who built contingency plans. The one who carried the paranoia of knowing every ally could become an enemy. Superman carried hope. Batman carried doubt. Together, they created balance. But without Batman, Superman inherits both roles. Now, Clark must be more than the symbol of hope. He must also be the strategist, the skeptic, the one who considers the dangers, not just the dreams. And this is not a natural role for him. Because Superman has always wanted to believe in the best of humanity, that even in our worst moments we can rise. But Batman never believed that. Batman prepared for failure, for betrayal, for the moment when heroes fall. So in Batman's absence, Superman faces a terrifying dilemma. Does he trust blindly as he always has? Or does he begin to think like Batman and prepare for the worst? This burden is more than emotional. It is political. The world looks at Superman now and sees not just a hero. They see a god with no equal, no shadow standing beside him, no mortal who dares to question him. And history has shown us what happens when Superman stands alone. Stories like Injustice and Red Son show how quickly the line between protector and tyrant blurs. Without Batman, the world fears that line may vanish. But here lies the brilliance of the DCU's choice. This absence is not weakness. It is a test, a trial to see what kind of Superman will rise when his darkest counterpart is gone. Will he become the hopeful guardian, proving that fear is unnecessary? Or will he stumble into the very nightmare Batman always warned against? Even Clark himself feels the pressure, because every victory he earns, every life he saves, is followed by a whisper. This would be different if Batman were here. That doubt gnaws at him. And for the first time, Superman must face loneliness not as a man, but as a myth. Yet in this loneliness lies opportunity. Without Batman, Superman has the chance to define himself without comparison, to show us who he truly is, not just who he is in contrast to Gotham's shadow. But the weight of legacy never leaves. Superman carries his own. Now he also carries Batman's. Two symbols, one man, one story. And as the new Superman movie unfolds, this dual burden becomes the true enemy. Not Lex Luthor, not Brainiac, not any villain from beyond the stars, but the crushing weight of expectation. Because the world is watching. And without Batman to question him, Superman must question himself. This is the heart of the story. The struggle not of fists and heat vision, but of conscience. The war within a man who is both God and human. The choice between hope and paranoia, between trust and fear. The weight on Superman's shoulders is not just about saving the world. It is about proving that even in Batman's absence, the symbol of hope can still stand. But in the distance, the shadows stir. Because absence is never forever. And when Batman returns, the world will not be the same. Neither will Superman. Absence is never forever. And in the DC universe, shadows always return. The whispers of Batman's legacy linger. Every villain still fears his name. Every hero still remembers his strategies. And even in silence, Gotham breathes with his myth. For Superman, the shadow of Batman is more than a memory. It is a ghost that shapes every choice he makes. Because Clark knows one day the Bat will return. And when he does, the world will judge the choices made in his absence. Subscribe if you want to keep unraveling these hidden meanings, because what comes next changes everything. The return of shadows is not about Bruce Wayne walking back into the room. It is about what his absence creates. Allies filling the void. Enemies rising to exploit it. And Superman struggling to maintain the balance. Consider Gotham. Without Batman, it is a city on the edge. Villains feel bolder. Criminals test the waters. And Superman cannot be everywhere at once. He tries. But Metropolis needs him too. The world needs him. And the cracks begin to show. It is in these cracks that legends are born. A new Batman could rise. A successor. A mantle passed. Or perhaps, the real Bruce, returning from the shadows after testing Superman's resolve. Because this is the riddle at the heart of the new DCU. Is Batman's absence real or deliberate? What if his disappearance is part of a larger plan? What if Bruce is watching, waiting, studying how Superman handles the burden alone? It would be the ultimate test of trust. The kind only Batman could devise. For Superman, this is both terrifying and comforting. Terrifying because it means Batman's judgment still looms. Comforting because it means he was never truly alone. The return of shadows means confrontation. When Batman comes back, the world will not be the same. Superman will have changed. He will have carried the weight of hope and paranoia. He will have learned to doubt, to plan, to question. And Batman will see it. The Man of Steel reshaped by absence. hardened by loneliness, transformed by the role of strategist. But will Batman approve? Or will he see Superman's changes as proof of corruption? Proof that even the brightest symbol of hope cannot stand unshaken without a shadow to ground him? This clash is inevitable, and it is more powerful than any physical fight. It is philosophical. It is moral. It is the collision of two legacies, rewritten by silence and return. And here lies the genius of the story. The DCU is not just asking, "Where is Batman?" It is asking, "What happens to Superman when the Bat is gone? And when he comes back?" The return of shadows will not simply restore balance. It will redefine it. Because the Batman who returns will not be the same as the one who left. And the Superman he finds will not be the same as the one he once knew. This is the future being built. A stage set not just for a hero's rise, but for a partnership tested in absence. One that must evolve or collapse. So the question lingers. When the shadows return, will they bring salvation or the beginning of something darker?